There's a place inside you that hurts in silence, a place where you find yourself begging for crumbs of affection, accepting the minimum when you deserved the maximum. That hug that never comes the way it should. That I love you that doesn't sound real. And you stay there, asking, waiting, pleading as if love were a currency you need to earn instead of something you should naturally receive. You know what's worse? You already know it hurts. You've felt on your skin how draining it is to live like that. Begging for affection from someone who maybe doesn't even know how to love, and even so, you stay. Because there's something inside an old wound, an emptiness you can't fill on your own that keeps you in that cycle. But here, in this space, you're not alone. And what we're going to talk about today will change the way you see this behavior. Because begging for affection isn't weakness. It's a sign that you need to find yourself again. This is another Headspace Talks. Let's go together. It all starts with a question very few people ask. Why do I behave like this? And the answer lives in layers. Deep layers, often invisible to our own eyes. The first layer is emotional dependence. You learned, somehow, that your happiness lives outside of you, that you can't be okay on your own, that you need someone else to validate your existence, to tell you that you're worthy. This is a powerful illusion, and when you believe it, you become a hostage to someone else. But there's something even deeper. There's an emptiness inside you, not a casual emptiness, no. It's the kind that screams it may be lack of self-love, lack of validation, lack of safety. And when that emptiness exists, you treat it like an open wound, and open wounds attract infection. You look for someone else to heal it, someone else to fill it. But no one can do that for you. No one. There's also the issue of low self-esteem. When you don't value yourself, any crumb becomes a treasure. Any attention becomes proof of love. That quick glance, that superficial touch, that rushed hey, everything becomes a reason for you to believe that maybe, just maybe, you are worthy of being loved. Inside your mind, there's a voice. A voice that speaks softly but screams loudly. That voice says, you're not enough. No one will ever truly love you. You need to do more, give more, be more. You deserve a crumb of affection. That voice is the echo of everything you've lived. Every rejection, every abandonment, every moment you felt invisible. And when that voice speaks, you listen to it as if it were absolute truth, as if it were a fact, but it's not. It's just a voice, a scared one. Negative thoughts form a heavy chain. You get trapped in a cycle. If I beg harder, maybe he'll love me. If I'm more useful, she'll give me more attention. If I set aside my dignity, at least I'll be near someone. Each thought feeds the next. And the more you think like this, the more you act like this. You create entire mental stories. Stories where you're always the one to blame, the insufficient one, the one who needs to improve. And while you're trapped in these stories, you can't escape the cycle of begging for affection. Because you've already decided it's what you deserve. Now comes the part most people are afraid to face. Forgiveness. Not forgiving others, that's easy. Or at least it's what we try to do. The difficult forgiveness is the one you need to give yourself. You need to forgive yourself for begging, for accepting less, for ignoring red flags, for shrinking yourself. Because that wasn't your weakness. It was you trying to survive with the tools you had. It was you seeking connection in the only way you knew at the time. Self-compassion is different from self-pity. It's not about lamenting. It's about recognizing that you suffered, that you got hurt, that you still carry the marks of that pain. And even so, you're still here, continuing, breathing, trying. When you can emotionally embrace yourself like that, when you can tell yourself it's okay, you were hurt and did what you could, that's when the real healing begins. Because healing doesn't come from eliminating pain. It comes from learning to live with it. From transforming that pain into wisdom. Change doesn't come all at once. It comes in small steps. Sometimes so small, you don't even notice you're evolving. But you are. That time you wanted to apologize for nothing and you didn't. That was an achievement. That moment you thought about sending a desperate message, but took a deep breath instead. That was victory. Not too big. That's okay. Small things that seem insignificant are actually bricks. And bricks build mansions. Gratitude enters here in a different way. It's not about being grateful for the relationship that hurts. It's not that it's being grateful that you're waking up to this, that you have the courage to look at it, that you're studying, learning, changing. It's gratitude for becoming someone who deserves better, someone who respects themselves. Because every day that you don't beg, every time you choose dignity over desperation, you're becoming a better version of yourself. And that deserves to be celebrated, Evan, if no one else sees it. There's a truth that needs to enter your heart like a flame. A simple truth you may have heard, but need to truly believe. You deserve to be loved. Not because you try too hard, not because you're too good, not because you do everything right. You deserve to be loved simply because you exist. Real love isn't begged for, it's not pleaded for, it's not earned through sacrifice and humiliation. Real love is simply given. It's a conscious choice from someone who looks at you and decides, you matter to me, period. While you're begging, you're sending a clear message to yourself first, that you don't deserve to be loved, that you're not worthy of an easy choice, a spontaneous gesture, affection without conditions. And that poisons everything. Because people can feel when you don't believe in yourself. But when you start truly loving yourself, when you start respecting yourself, the energy changes. You begin attracting people who also want to love, who want to be near you for no reason other than the fact that you are you. That's rare, but it exists, and you deserve to find it. The past is heavy. It carries the weight of all the rejections, abandonments, wounds that are still open. When you stay trapped there, begging now for what you should have received back then, you multiply your pain. But there's a place where you have real power, a place where you can make different choices. That place is now, this exact moment. You can't change what your parents did or didn't do. You can't erase that toxic relationship. You can't rewrite your childhood, but you can choose what to do from now on. You can choose not to beg. You can choose to respect yourself. You can choose to write your own vows. The present is where true freedom lives. Not a freedom you find in someone else. A freedom of choice, of awareness, of action. Every time you recognize you're begging and choose not to repeat it, you're exercising that freedom. You're reclaiming yourself. And change is gradual, but it's real. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. Day after day, choice after choice, you become someone who deserves better because you decided to deserve it. Everything we talked about comes down to one simple point. You have the power to break this cycle. Not tomorrow. Not when things get better. Now. From this moment on, you can decide not to beg anymore. That doesn't mean you'll magically never feel rejected again, never face abandonment. It will happen. Life includes that too. But when you're aware, when you know your worth, when you choose yourself first, you go through those pains differently. You don't stay stuck. You don't blame yourself. You simply move forward. The fear is real. The fear of being alone, of not being loved, of not being enough. This fear will continue to exist as long as you're alive. But it doesn't have to drive your life. It doesn't have to make you beg. You need to look at your wounds. You need to understand why you behave this way. You need to forgive yourself. And then, you need to choose differently. It might be therapy. It might be study. It might be daily reflection. It might be all of it together. But it has to start with one thing, the decision that you deserve better. And that decision, my friend, is already half the journey. Begging for affection is more common than you imagine. It's the silent cry of someone who lost themselves. But here's the good news. You can find yourself again. You can rescue yourself. You can become someone who doesn't have to beg for love because they already know they deserve it. Everything we talked about today, the causes, the wounds, the cycle serves one purpose, to wake you up. To help you understand that what you do is a reflection of what you lived, not a reflection of who you are. And from that understanding, you can change. It won't be easy. Change never is. Because there's comfort even in the pain we know. There's safety even in what hurts us. But when you break that cycle, when you can breathe without asking for permission, when you can love yourself without expecting anything in return, then you discover something. You were whole all along. You had just forgotten. So let me ask you this now. In this moment that's yours alone, if you had all the love in the world coming from yourself, without needing anyone else to confirm your worth, how would your life change? And of course, if you want to keep walking with me, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here at Headspace Talks, we learn together to transform pain into strength and silence into healing.